I got a little bit of money, I got a whole lot of time. I'm gonna hang around the corner, yeah, till you pass on by. Oh, I'm gonna shave my face, I'm gonna comb my tooth, I'm gonna buy that shirt, you know the one. Yeah, I'm gonna shine my shoes.
Congratulations on the new album, L.O.V.E. It's a lot of ground to be covered if you want to get an in-depth interview with Bill Troiani. So I guess we should just start from the beginning. You had an anniversary in December, roughly the same age as Tom Waits.
I'm 60 years old.
December 49? What's your birthday?
December 1st, 1949.
Tom Waits is December the 7th.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's so 60.
Isn't that Pearl Harbor Day?
That's yeah, it is. It is. And he died, I think, the day after. No, he was born the day after L.O.V.E was. He died. They met on the way up. It's something they've been talking about in the blues scene. But today is, I think it's just fair to say that's also the 80th birthday of one of the giants in the blues. Do you have any guess? Anyone? Bobby Blue Bland is 80 years today. Bobby Bland har bursdag I dag. Jeg synes det en veldig passende ting å nevne I forbindelse med denne planen. You started playing the bass when you were quite young. You grew up in New York. Was it Brooklyn you grew up in?
No, I grew up in Manhattan and moved to Queens about the time I started playing the bass. 1961. I was 11 years old.
And New York City is the world metropolis and the center of culture. I mean, growing up at that time, or at any time for that matter. But at that time, the R&B, the blues scene was really happening, and the doo-wop scene was happening.
All the popular music was great. Lloyd Price, people like that coming out of New Orleans. All the stuff, the top 40 music was all really, really good. Great bass players and drummers.
So, what address did you have? What part of Manhattan did you live?
Washington Heights. And near the George Washington Bridge.
So how far up is that?
Almost to the top.
Almost to the top, right. I was thinking of course, the Apollo of that time. Was that the place you could go as a young white kid in the 1960s, or
no.
Was it not advisable?
No, it wasn't advisable for me to go there in the 1960s. There were riots and stuff.
But yeah, but there was you were aware of music from the Shirelles, for example.
Oh yeah, they were the pop stars at the time.
And they recorded up there with Bobby Robinson studio, right across the street from the Apollo.
This is something I did not know.
I just checked it out before I came here. And you remember? Can you remember Dave? Baby Cortez, Happy Organ?
Yes, I can.
He also was recording at that studio. He was #1 at that time. So I really envy you for growing up in New York in that time.
Well, don't envy me too much. New York is a bunch of little towns that kind of pushed up against each other. You don't even know the people who live on the next floor. You know, and when you live in a big apartment building, you don't know everybody.
So how was the neighborhood you grew up in?
It was, well, I don't remember much because I'm 60 years old now. But,
I mean, starting music, I read the Merete Eider's great article in Blues News, an interview with you when your first album came out a couple of years ago, the one that was called Little Mixed Up. And she stressed the fact that you have a mixed background. You have a Jewish mother and Swedish father and a stepfather who is Italian Irish, so it makes for some soulful mix, I think.
And my father was Swedish and Scottish from Minnesota.
Yeah, so to me it sounds like music in my ears with all that background.
It was a great place to grow up because it's the radio. I mean, you hear anything on the radio you want. You just have to switch the channels. You could hear oldies, you could hear pop music, you hear American standards, you hear jazz, you hear old rock and roll, anything you want. Just have to scroll through the thing. And at night, with the AM radio, at night you get stations from as far away as Texas or Canada. It's great.
So when Beatlemania struck the United States in 1964, did that affect you? Beatles arrived, I Want to Hold Your Hand, February 1964.
I went to see A Hard Day's Night at the movie theater, and you couldn't hear anything because the girls were screaming.
Did you go to the concert at Shea Stadium?
No,
because nobody could hear anything. That was the last live gig they did, I think, in '66.
They were using a Shure Vocal Master PA system, which wouldn't even cover this room.
Yeah, that was that time. So, now, let me say, we haven't prepared much. We just, I just promised not to confuse Bill. But
Thank you very much.
It's a song, one of my favorites. It's really a New York song. It's "The Wanderer" by Dion, 1962.
Dion.
Dion and the Belmonts.
He was from up in the Bronx.
Yeah, so that's really your neighborhood music, kind of.
Well, actually, no, I wasn't listening to him that much. He was a little too pop for me.
So you've never been into pop as such? Your music more like starting off with the bass that your stepfather recommended you, and so.
Yeah, well, he was a jazz sax player from the '30s.
Yeah.
And he recommended I start playing the bass, but it was always old blues and rock and roll and R&B. It was never anything very popular. I used to go down to the Donnell Library on 52nd Street and take out LPs, like the L.O.V.E series and stuff like that.
So you were into you were really a die-hard purist music fan, digging for the original stuff.
I wasn't that die-hard. I actually learned more about the history of all this stuff when I moved here because everyone here is so educated about this. I was just playing what I liked, and it turned out to be that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, going to the library, borrowing stuff by Alan Lomax's recordings, that's pretty advanced, isn't it? For a teenager?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I guess I am advanced.
Yeah. I didn't go to borrow any Alan Lomax. I didn't know who he was when I was a teenager. So anyway, the blues and the folk scene, the folk music scene in New York then, Greenwich Village, that must have been something you have kind of heard about when you grew up.
Oh yeah, I heard about it. Yeah, sure. I was really too young to go out, but my younger sister went to the High School of Music and Art, and she's the one who turned me on to everything.
She did.
Everything.
Yeah. Everything else. Okay, you.
Music as well. Yes.
Yeah. That's good. You want to expand on that?
No. My kids might see this.
But you had a blues band. Marietta mentions the name of that blues band in the article she did.
My first band.
Yeah, which has a long name.
We were the post-war baby boom blues band.
Oh, that's a good name.
PWBBBB.
Post-war baby boomer. So what did you play in that band?
I used to sing. I did some stuff by. I think I did Nick Ravenetti's "Born in Chicago," of course, and I think I even sang. And Then I Kissed Her by the Everly Brothers. Stuff like that. And we did all kinds of old stuff. And we had the rhythm guitar player was a guy named Stanley Eisen.
Yeah.
Who ended up starting Kiss. It's Paul Stanley.
That's quite some, what do you call it, alumni?
Yeah, I haven't seen him since.
No.
I haven't seen him since he got rich.
He could offer you a job as a bass player in the next studio, in the next studio job.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll call him and ask him.
Do that.